Yo, 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 welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. And before we get to our guest today, we have a big shout out for Living Sisu. Living Sisu is a platform and app that wants to give you all the tools to have success in your sport. Their main objective is to activate your lifestyle. So it's for active people. Enjoy discounts at companies like BioSteel, 30% off, Body Logics, the Goalie Guild, all his books are discounted. Roan, Lululemon for men, 20% off. Online stretching programs with Eccentrics, 1 full month free. They got super silent massage guns, 20% off those. And it's a great quality. It's way less expensive than a Theragun, and it's great quality. So there's so many more discounts that you guys will need to just become a member to see. So they want to provide you with anything you need for success. So come join the community. I'm a part of it. A bunch of other athletes are a part of it. So it's free to join. It takes 20 seconds to get exclusive offers to your sport, and it's definitely worth it. So do us a huge favor and go sign up for Living Sisu's membership. It's free, takes 20 seconds. So go do it, and we'll see you there. Living Sisu is a great company. We know one of the co-founders, Zach Fricali. He's a great guy. He's the co-founder. He does a lot of live streams on Instagram at Living Sisu, with a bunch of elite athletes, and you learn a lot from like the athletes' determination, their resiliency, everything to what made them become successful. So it's been a great experience so far. So go on. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. So go sign up. Back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we are joined by a very special guest, current professional hockey goaltender Trevor Micucci. Trevor is entering his first full pro season of professional hockey in the Federal Prospects Hockey League with the Elmira Mammoth. Prior to turning pro, Trevor spent time in the North American Hockey League and the Eastern Hockey League for juniors before playing 2 years of NCAA Division III college hockey for Buffalo State College, before turning pro for a little bit with the Binghamton Black Bears last season. So this is going to be a really fun episode, Trevor. So welcome to the show, Trevor Micucci.
Appreciate you having me on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. So start things off, like how have you been? Like, it's been quite a busy start of the year for you. So how's everything with you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been pretty good. It's been a fun experience. I've been going back and forth from Elmira to Buffalo because I have my family here, and we're working on getting them to Elmira, but stuff like that takes time. But as far as hockey goes, it's been great. The community has been great. We're starting to see a lot more fans in the arena, and we got a little bit of work to do, but I know we can get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Because how far is Elmira from Buffalo?
It takes me about 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's not too bad of a drive.
Oh, that's not bad. That's very doable, and you could do it with ease at this point.
Yeah. At this point, yeah, I can close my eyes and get there.
Yeah, absolutely. But how have the things been with Elmira? Like, it's a new organization. Like, you've gotten in to almost every game pretty much so far. It's like, how's everything with that, and like the expectations for the season?
Like I said, we still got some things to do. We're a new team. We're still trying to figure things out. I thought our last game in Watertown, and even the game before that, I thought we made some pretty significant strides. And we're still winless, but I can feel it coming. Like, there was times we just really started connecting on the ice and off the ice in the locker room. There was good positive energy going on. So I think if we just keep that same mindset, we're going to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I've caught a few of your games, especially that last one. Like, you can tell you guys are like on the brink of getting a win. Like, you guys came short in overtime, I believe.
Yeah, overtime. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys got a point, and like, it just seems like everything's come together. And like, that's the hardest part with a newly expanded team, is you just got to have that. Everyone's got to come together, and like, no one has played with each other for that long. So you just got to, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, absolutely. Slowly but surely, it's been coming. We're working hard in practice. We got a big 2 games against Binghamton home this weekend. So, we're hoping to get 2 wins there.
Yeah. So like what has those like 3-4 games that you've been in like what have they been like, especially like that first game when you got brought in right away?
You as a goalie, you go in, you're already down, and you just got to kind of do what you can to keep your team in there. It's been a lot of shots every game. I feel like at that point it's all mental. Like you just have to be prepared for it.
Yeah.
You're going to get a lot of shots. If you're talking with your team and they're talking back with you, you guys are on the same page. It's doable. Of course, you don't want to see 40 or 50 shots every game, but like I said, it's a work in progress. Um, Over time, like I've noticed the changes that we've made, offensively, defensively, and even myself and Harley and Mike Cosentino on my team. We've all been working extremely hard, and you're starting to see the changes on the ice.
Yeah, absolutely. And like sometimes it's good to face a lot of shots, especially like when you're getting those reps as like since this is like your first full like pro season, like you had a stint with Binghamton last year, but like your first full pro season. So like just to get the reps and be able to compete at that level, like must be at least somewhat like good for you and just to be able to know that you can stop these shots.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as far as competition goes, I mean, I thought it's been really good. There's some good players on each team that we've played against, and I feel like sometimes this league gets a little bit of a, I won't say a bad reputation, but I feel like people talk down on it. And from my experience so far, like there's good players out there. Like, I mean, this league's improving.
Yeah, absolutely, and like it improves every single year, and like it is a good league, and you just like you love to see how far it's grown, especially since like the last like 10 years or so. Like it's definitely grown into a league where it's like where like guys are going to coast camps, AHL camps, in the following year
Yeah,
after their season. Like it is a legit league.
yeah, that definitely. I would 100% agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And like just so like I like to have like what was your first like major like Fed story, like your Fed moment. So like what was your like Fed moment that you're like, what is going on?
It just happened this weekend. uh Weird situation. Our bus driver didn't take us to the game. Um he he claimed it wasn't in his contract, I guess, to take us to the game. I guess I don't know. I'm not 100% certain on this, but from what I heard, he he thought he was just taking us to the hotel and only once to the rink. And we had dropped our gear off earlier that day, and he was like, "Nope, that's it. Like that's like
Just the
that's all we
gear
can do.
drop off. That's it. You're not going to the game.
That was it." And so we get on the bus and like we're sitting there for like 45 minutes, and we're like, "What is going on here? Like, can we like Uber to the rink or something?" And I got to thank the Watertown people because they came and picked us up, and they were really good about it. But yeah, crazy situation. And what is it, like week 4 now? Yeah. So about a month in.
Week 4, and you already have stories about the bus trips and everything, and like not
Yeah,
being able to,
exactly.
the bus driver not being able to take you to the game or except that one time to drop your gear off.
Yeah, it was something. That was definitely a first for me.
Yeah, that's wild, and like just like to have all those stories already, like it's crazy, and like it's just something to look
Yeah.
back on, like especially like at the end of the season, like yeah, wow, like that actually did happen.
Yeah. I mean, even when it was happening, I was like, this is kind of comical. Like I've never seen this before. I think we got to the game with like maybe an hour to get ready. So it was something.
At least you guys got to the game.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, for sure. But you spent some time with Binghamton last year as well. So like what was the process like to sign with Binghamton? Like what was that experience like since that was your first like actual pro experience?
I was there for a short amount of time. It was already midway through the season. They were just looking for someone else pretty much. Um, and at that point I already had him played. It was 2 years since I last played like my last competitive game with Buff State. And they called me and I had the chance, and I was like, you know what, I'll try it. And I mean, I thought like their arena is beautiful. You know, and they've got some good things in there. They've got an amazing locker room and a good staff and everything. And they had a pretty solid team last year too. For me though, I just like I had a lot going on. You know, my wife was pregnant at the time, and I really didn't want to be going back and forth from Binghamton to Buffalo.
Yeah.
It's a little bit longer of a trip, and you know, I was there. I said, if you ever need me again, like give me a call. And then eventually this chance came up with Elmira, so I jumped on that when I could.
Yeah, it's like how did this opportunity with Elmira come up? Did you go to like their free agent camp, or did they just contact you right away and you went to main camp?
So I've known the owner for a long time. His kids have went to. My dad has his own goaltending school, so you know he's been there. They came to our camps before when the owner's name is Mr. Donner, Steve Donner.
Yeah.
When he owned the Rochester Americans, and that was pretty much how I got that connection. And you know, my dad had always been in contact with him for years. They had talked, and you know, they became pretty close and worked together on a few things. So after Mr. Donner left to Greenville, I believe, Swamp Rabbits, uh, this chance came up with Elmira, and he had talked about it for a little bit last season to see if they could get into the league. It was, you know, COVID and stuff was still going on, so it was still too hard. But he said, you know, if you want to come give it a shot, you're more than willing to. I didn't go to the free agent camp, but I went to rookie camp. Got through rookie camp, went to our main camp, and here we are now.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's like you have had the experience in Binghamton, you've had the experience so far in Elmira. So like what have been some of like the biggest takeaways you've taken to help enhance your game and just learn the professional game?
I mean, there's been a lot. Like, I feel like I've learned so much from just guys on my team. Like, you know, like there's players who have been there for a long time, and you know they played in a bunch of leagues other than the Fed, East Coast and SP, and you know you get to learn a lot from them because they have that like experience and knowledge. Um, and you know, like you get to this level, and like the play is a little bit different, but you know, you just have to keep staying on par with everybody. Um, Working hard in practice, trying to go above what you can do.
Yeah.
And you know, like the community here in Elmira has been amazing. Like, you know, I've they really try and get a good connection with the players, and I don't know if that's advanced my game any better, but it makes me feel pretty good. Like I want to go out there and win, obviously, but I even more so now I want to go out there and win for them
Yeah.
because they've been so supportive and you know great to everybody, and like the town definitely deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like when you have like that community aspect, like you said, you want to do everything you can, even more. So because you want to win, of course, but like when you have the community around you, and like that just makes everything even more, and makes everything more special.
Yeah, exactly. Like we've been uh the other week, you know, some guys went to the schools to read. They did some trunk or treating on Halloween. I like little stuff like that. Like I think that's awesome. Like I think it's good for us to get out there and be a part of it because you know they're supporting us. You know, buying tickets, merchandise, and jerseys and stuff. So I mean, we definitely appreciate it. I know I definitely appreciate it, and yeah, I feel like I owe a little bit to them for that.
Yeah, absolutely. How's the atmosphere at First Arena there? It's like because like you guys are big in the community, so I'm guessing the atmosphere is pretty good as well in First Arena.
That first weekend was awesome. It was a little less of a crowd the second weekend, but that first day, man, like it was our intros were awesome and the crowd was pumped up and happy. Um, you know, I think we can get that going again. Obviously, you got to win.
Yeah.
Um, but as soon as we start getting some wins, I think that place is going to be bumping.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like having community and like the atmosphere in the arena, like it makes everything more special. And once you get that first win, like everything's there's gonna be a lot more people at the rink, and everyone's gonna follow the team a lot more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but for this part of the show, I want to get into like your youth, junior, and college days a little bit here. So you grew
Sure.
up in Hamburg, New York. So what was it like growing up in New York, especially as a youth hockey player?
I love it. I love it here. I love living in Buffalo. As far as youth hockey goes, I'm not afraid to say it's so political here. That it's tough for kids to play on the spot. And I was pretty lucky growing up. I mean, I played on a lot of teams here. Once I got to around 14, 15 years old, I was with the Buffalo Regals. And then the Junior Sabres were just starting out as a youth program. They had their junior team. But I think it was only like their second or third year, 15U and 16U at the time. So I made it there, and I would say that's where things really started to take off for me. You go to those showcases and there's scouts everywhere. And I believe it was when we made it to nationals that when I first got drafted in the USHL, my coach, actually for the Little Flyers, was a scout for Bloomington Thunder. They're not a team there anymore, but he saw me and they drafted me. And yeah, I mean, you can get out of Buffalo 100%. But it's hard. It's very political here.
Yeah, I have like the same thoughts, like in Chicago over here, like it's very political over here for youth hockey. So I totally understand that. And like just like it is like political over here in Buffalo, but like when you do get that opportunity, you just got to make the most of it and just go for whatever you want, because that opportunity and like that like time span is very limited here.
Yeah, absolutely. But even I'll say, like, for guys who weren't at that like elite level of play, like I've seen so many guys from Buffalo who who, well, maybe I didn't play with, but like they've gone on to play a very good hockey, college, pro, whatever the case is. It's just like so shine down on these teams that like you have to be a part of this team to like be able to do well. And it's kind of a shame because, if it wasn't so focused on one thing, there could be a lot of good stuff going on around here.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you there. It's like what got you into hockey, and like how old were you starting? What drew you to the position of goaltending, since it is a position that a lot of people don't want to play?
Oh yeah, it sucks. I started playing off as a forward when I was little, maybe 4, and I hated it. I hated skating board to board. I was like, this sucks.
It's not for you.
It was not for me. My dad grew up playing goalie, and I'm not going to say that he got me in the position, but there was always goalie stuff around the house. And I remember looking at a Goalies World magazine, and Ed Belfour was on the cover of it. And I don't know what it was, but something about that made me want to play. And I started back up again when I was 7 playing goalie, and somewhat, I don't know, 15, 16 years later, here we are.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's amazing how the stories are, what gets people into the position of goaltending and everything. Like I was a forward all throughout like my youth days, all the way up and throughout high school. And then I'd do like pickup hockey at 14 as a goalie, and then I picked it up full time at 18, and now I'm 22. Yeah. So it's amazing how far people come from when they play forward or like wherever they start, and then they want to switch over to goaltending. And like I don't know if it's a customization part of it, or just us being a little bit crazy and wanting to stop a 100-mile-per-hour puck, a rubber puck. I have no idea.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, why am I even doing this still? But it's part of you, and it's something that you love to do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super fun, and like you love, especially like the ups and downs of it. Like the downs obviously suck, but it's all part of the position, part of the sport. So you just got to take whatever you can with it.
Yeah, exactly. And at this point in my life, there's probably nothing I haven't been through, like good or bad. So, by the time you get into the game, you're like, whatever happens, happens here. Go try your best. If you get lit up for 6 goals and get pulled, it is what it is. If you get a shutout on 50 saves, good job, pat on your back. But yeah, it's crazy. The ups and downs for goaltending is such a mental game.
Yeah, absolutely. But you spent your junior or your youth hockey days with the Buffalo Junior Sabres. Like, what was that development and growth throughout playing AAA hockey going into junior hockey?
I didn't really know a lot at the time. Like there were some good players in that organization, and like you start seeing guys getting drafted to the OHL. You start seeing guys getting drafted to the USHL, committing D1 and stuff, and I think that's all you really think of at that age, because you really don't know any better. But once I got into juniors, it changed my whole perspective. It changed my whole outlook on things. I truly I didn't want to play D3 when I was probably my second year of juniors, and not because I thought I was better than it. I was just like, well, I guess I didn't see it as competitively as Division One. And I got to Buff State, and one of the main reasons I chose it was because it was close to home, local. It's only 20 minutes down from where I live. And that SUNY conference was just as competitive as any other hockey I played. And also great players come out of these leagues too. Like, you see some guys from D3 go to NHL camps and stuff. See some guys sign in the AHL, go to Europe, East Coast. It's no matter where you are, if you keep working hard, you can get to where you want to be. But there's such that narrative that you have to go here and you have to go there in order to be this superstar or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, exactly. And NCAA Division 3 and Division 3, or Division 1, Division 3, Division 3 teams can compete with some Division 1 schools. So it's very competitive still, and it's a legit division. Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, they're all within the same, where a lot of these teams can compete against each other no matter what division they're in.
Sure. I mean, of course you're going to have amazing teams wherever you are, right? In D3 it was always Geneseo was always good, Oswego was always good, your Wisconsin was always good. I mean, I take any three of those teams and put them up against even a mid-average D1 team, and I think they're going to be right in there.
Yeah, exactly. And the game it just keeps getting better and better every year. You see a lot of D1 guys going to D3 schools, so it just creates even better of an atmosphere and a environment, especially for the Division 3 schools, because they're being able to compete against anyone, and just they're at that Division 1 level, especially when guys do come from Division 1 to Division 3.
Yeah, exactly. And even the schools would get a lot of games too. I remember going to Oswego, and if you were to tell me is this D3 or D1, I wouldn't probably know any better. I would have probably said D1. They have a beautiful arena, and staff members, and all the college students come to the games and they pack the place. So it's just it's a great atmosphere.
Yeah, and some of the D3 facilities are Division 1 facilities. So it's crazy to just
absolutely
think that Division 1 facilities it could be exactly the same as Division 3, or if not even better than those.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I've been to some D1 rinks and I'm like, these are all right. And I feel like I've been to some D3 rinks where I'm like, oh, these are actually pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But you played junior hockey in the Eastern Hockey League and the North American Hockey League, but you said you were drafted to the USHL with the Binghamton Thunder. It's what was being drafted to the USHL and just that adversity of not being able to play in the USHL but get that opportunity in the NAL?
I remember it. I think I was 16. I think I wasn't expecting anything at all. It was round 18 or something. They have a ridiculous amount of rounds, and I just remember being so excited that I was just happy I got the chance. And I remember going up for main camp, and I had a really, really good main camp, and they were man, you're putting us in a tight spot here. At the time, they had 2 Division I committed goalies already. I was like, all right, well, so they were like, go play in Philadelphia with the Little Flyers for a year. So the scout who was a part of Bloomington was the head coach of the Little Flyers, and he's like, go get a year of juniors in, and then we'll talk next year. So I did that. I went to Philly. I probably had one of my best years of hockey there. And I was even talking to Bloomington here and there during the season to see maybe if I was going to go up or not. I ended up not going up. And then that following, I think it was in the summer, maybe a little before the summer, I got drafted in the Null, and coincidentally, they played out of the same rink that I was already at with the Little Flyers. So I already had a billet family set up there. People that I still talk to this day, every day, they were in my wedding. And I was like, well, I'm going into the Null. It's a great goalie league. I mean, it's all around a good league, but you see a lot of good high end goalies coming out of that league. And I was like, I'm happy here, so I'll stay here for a year.
Yeah, that's a great story, especially like since like you were drafted to the U show, and then like they already had 2 Division I commitments there, and then like you get drafted to the Null, and like that's another great opportunity there with the Null, especially with their how they have a bunch of like really great goalies there. So like, how do you think
definitely
playing with the Little Flyers helped you succeed and step into that big role in the Null with the Aston Rebels the next year?
It definitely had a lot to do with my teammates on the Little Flyers. I think I was the youngest guy on the team, and it was probably the best group of guys I've ever played with. And I've said this in another interview before, but I owe a lot to them because they really showed me the ropes in every aspect. Like, I remember my first time like working out, and there was some big guys on that team, and they were like just kicking ass in these workouts. And I was like, man, I don't know. I'm, this little scrawny string bean. I don't know what I'm doing here. But they just showed me what to do. They showed me how to act. They showed me how to win. And I think that is what led me into, as far as, stats go, being pretty statistically good in the NA. So I know it definitely had a lot to do with those team and that group of older guys who helped me along the way.
Yeah, so you go up from the Eastern League to the Knolls. Like, what were some of the biggest things you learned that year, especially going up another level and being able to compete and put up some very good statistics as well?
Yeah, so you get there, and I always say this, no matter what league you're in, it's a business. Like, you have to perform well. And at the end of the day, you have to win. And again, like, I was a part of another very good team there. We went pretty far. I think we made it to the semifinals in the Robertson Cup. We lost to Fairbanks, so ended up winning it all. But you have to grind it out there. You're going up against some better players. There's some Division I committed players there. There's guys on the NHL Central Scouting list there. The speed's a little better. Everything's just a little bit quicker. But I think it really all starts in practice. Like, you're going up against that in practice, so practice how you play, right? You just have to keep working hard. No matter where you go, you're gonna have to adjust something. And I mean, probably the biggest thing was the speed. And like, players got like better shots. You could tell like they know how to pick their spots and everything.
Yeah, and like it's amazing as you go up the levels and like how quickly a guy can get a shot off or even just switch the angle by just an inch. And like it's already like that adjustment you have to make is like you have maybe half a second, not even a half second to make that decision before the puck either hits you or ends up in the back of the net.
Yeah, I mean, I remember doing some summer skates with Jason Pominville, played on the Sabres here. And I remember I'd be like right on angle with him, and he'd get me like right in the corner. I'm like, how did he get this in? Like, what am I doing wrong? What do I have to fix here? But I mean, that's an NHL guy right there. But it's the same thing when you're going to, making that jump from the Eastern Hockey League to the North American Hockey League. Like, guys can pick their spots. Like, they know where to shoot, they know how to get you moving, and you got to keep working on it.
Yeah, exactly. And then the following year, you spend a year and a half with the Minnesota Wilderness before going to the Amarillo Bulls. So, like, what was that time in Minnesota like? And just like, I know you faced a bit of adversity there, going like, and the team you went 5-11 that first year, I believe. So, like, what did you have to learn from that adversity and not like get so down on yourself?
So my first year in Minnesota started off a little rough for me. Um, I just wasn't playing like myself. And then I had my chance to get in there. I remember it was against Bismarck, and I had a great game. And it took off from there. And personally, I think that was one of my best years of hockey. I didn't have equal or higher stats than I did in the Eastern Hockey League, but I faced a lot of shots. I think we finished second place in the conference. So we were a good team, but we weren't outstanding.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of good, hardworking guys there. And I think I forgot. I'm not totally sure. I think I played 29 games that year. I had a winning record. I don't remember 100%, but you had to be very strong mentally. Because you got to look where you're living too. Like, you're up in Minnesota. There's not a whole lot going on, and I'm not bashing it at all. But like, coming from Buffalo and Philly, where I had a lot to do, you're just pretty much playing hockey out there. And I lived with a great family, so that was good. But it was pretty much hockey all the time. I mean, they showed me some pretty cool stuff. Like, we went ice fishing, and I've never done that before. And we went driving out in the middle of the lake, and it was crazy, and it was really fun. But yeah, that first year in Minnesota, we had a decent team. We probably could have went a little further. But I thought that was a really good year for me. And then that second year, I started going through a lot mentally. And I didn't really know at the time what I was going through. A few months ago, actually, I was diagnosed with OCD. And, I'm not going to get into it too much, but if you don't know what it is, like, for anyone watching, like, just look it up and, read about it a little. And I don't want to say that totally affected my game, but it definitely did a little, because I was just, I thought I had to make this Division I commit, for my life to be okay. And in turn, that really wasn't the case. So I struggled for a little bit there, and I wasn't playing as much as I should have been. It was my last year. I should have been the starting goalie, but I really wasn't playing as much as I thought I should have. And then I thought I needed a change, so I got traded to Amarillo, where my little Flyers coach actually was the coach at Amarillo. He had moved up, so he traded for me there. And I got there, and I still struggled for a little bit again. And then something just clicked for me, and I remember my last probably 2 months were pretty good. I won't say that in my numbers, but I remember, I was playing pretty good quality games. And I thought I had a really fun experience there. I loved Amarillo. I liked living in Texas. Again, I had another great billet family. The arena there was beautiful. They would always get a lot of fans. And the weather was nice. I remember the day I left, 6 a.m, it was like 94 degrees. So, I couldn't complain too much. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it like playing in the Null South? Because that I've heard that's a division that gets interesting, especially in over in Texas there.
I think, honestly, if I could do it all over again, I'd start off there. Every arena's pretty nice. Like, I don't want to say it's handled more professionally, but you definitely get that like feel and atmosphere.
Yeah.
Where some of you don't get that at every other division in the all. But like, even like going to Odessa and stuff, it was a little outdated, but still, like, playing in it, the arena was really nice. Lone Star, had nothing similar to Amarillo, but still a great fan base. Like, I
Yeah.
remember going out to the game and like the fans are marching on the stands and stuff, making like a cool noise. I was like, all right, this is pretty sweet. And going to Corpus Christi too, that was awesome. I don't know how much that place holds, 8,000 or something, but I remember they would almost pack it, and we had some battles there, and it was super fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've heard a lot of good things about the South, and like a lot of, like, for fans, like you get like line brawls every game, or like a bunch of like fights going on. Like, did you experience any line brawls in the dirty South?
No line brawls. We did have some crazy stuff happen. I remember there something had happened. We had just won a game in Corpus Christi, and it was a Saturday, so we were heading back to Amarillo the following week, and we would have played Corpus Christi at home. And something happened between the bench and the fans, and I remember there was like an investigation and stuff. I'm not totally sure what went on, but I remember that following week, their their coach was throwing water bottles across the bench, and one of them hit our trainer, and she was a girl, and I'm like, come on, you can't hit Rio, like you gotta leave her alone. She's like the glue to this team. She got drilled with a water bottle. But there was fights, of course, and stuff, but nothing too crazy other than that.
Yeah, that's all. That's like that. I've heard like a lot of like stories about that division, but like just like any division, like stuff's gonna happen like that, and like
Yeah,
it's part of the game, so you can't really complain.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but then after that year, you go into Buffalo State College, like where you played there for 2 years. So what was the process to pick Buffalo State to be your school?
I had a few Division 3 offers. At the end of the day, I just wanted to be home. There were some other teams that were pretty close, but I I just wanted to be home at that point. I had been
Yeah,
gone for 4 years. Um, I was already in a relationship with my wife now, who I think we were going around 5 years at that point already. So I wanted to be with her, and like we have a place here now in Buffalo. And I kind of wanted to just start building my life from there. I didn't know what
yeah,
I was going to do with hockey after college. Um, so the truth of the matter is I really just wanted to be home, and I knew that they had pushed a lot of goalies professionally from Buff State in previous years, so that was another big draw for me.
yeah, and like that's like at the end of the day, you want to do what's best for you, and especially like if
Hmm.
you have goals of going pro, like just to have any school that can offer you to potentially go professional while also trying to
Yeah,
make like a good life for you and everything, like that's what you got to do.
yeah, and that's what I did. And I was there 2 years, and then so after my second year, that was my sophomore year, COVID happened. Um, and I remember we were still trying to make it work for a little, and I knew it wasn't working. And I was driving out to Niagara Falls and back at the time because we couldn't use ice at Buff State, and it was just becoming too much because I still had bills to pay here, and I couldn't do that playing hockey, driving back and forth in the afternoon, and not being able to work. So I said I'm not going to be able to finish it this year. 2 weeks later, anyway, their season got canceled anyway. Um, and by the time my senior year rolled around, I had a little bit of credits left, and I was like, I'm just going to finish it off here, and whatever happens, happens. So then I graduated this past May, actually, and I was
Congrats on
working
that.
with. Thank you very much. Hated school, but got it done.
There we go.
Yep, and and that's kind of where this whole Elmira thing came in.
Yeah, so then you go on to spend your 2 years at Buffalo State College playing hockey. It's like what was that first year of college hockey like, especially going from North American Hockey League to NCAA Division 3?
I think the NA was probably a little bit quicker. Still good competition, Division 3. But personally, I was still struggling at the time. Like I was still mentally just not there. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't piece it together. I was getting too hard and frustrated on myself. And I only got into 7 games. Um, I was a freshman, and we had a junior sophomore goalie. I forgot, but they wanted to go with him, and I understood that. He was there. He had a pretty good year before that. Um, and then the second year rolls around, and I had earned my spot to start, and I started that first game, and we lost. And I don't think I played another game that rest of the semester. Um, I kept my head down, just kept trying, doing what I could. Um, and then I finally got my chance to play. I remember I was nervous because I didn't know if I could still do this and
Yeah.
whatever the case. And I think I let in a couple goals, and I was like, you know what? If I let in another one, whatever, I'm just gonna keep playing. And since that game, I kind of just stuck with that mentality. And obviously I had some other things go on in my life that I had to take care of personally for myself. Um, but at this point, it's just like I'm just grateful to be doing it. I'm having fun, and I think that's the most important thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, so you played 14 games throughout your 2 years there, and so like you said, like you put your head down and worked and grinded your
Mhm.
way through the season. So like, how important is it to just take practices, for example, like and treat that like your game, especially when they're going with a guy that's a junior or a senior. So like just to be able to just grind and practice and take that as your games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say it didn't suck. It sucked. Like, you're
Yeah.
just there practicing, and that's hard. You just have to, keep pushing, and you're gonna get your chance again. And that's what happened for me. And then by the time the second semester came around, we were rotating then, and that's when I got more of my games in, and that's when I was playing well, and um, I played in the game to get us a home ice advantage in playoffs. So like you just, as much as it sucks, and I know it sucks because like I've been through it before, not just
Yeah.
at Buff State, but even in juniors and stuff. You just got to keep grinding, and you know you got to embrace the suck. I think that's like a military thing. I saw that somewhere, and it really, you just got to embrace it. You just got to keep going through the mud.
That'll be the title. Embrace the suck. Yeah,
Embrace the
for
suck.
your.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, because like
yeah,
if you embrace it, like it's amazing if you embrace like the process and the challenges and like that you're going through, like and like just to keep fighting and overcoming it. Like when you do overcome it, like it's a lot like more beneficial to you, and you're like, yes, like let's go, let's keep going.
exactly. And you got to do the hard things,
Yeah.
and that's why they're hard. You got to try and do them, and you just got to, like I've been saying, you just got to grind your way through it.
There's gonna be bumps and bruises in the road. You just got to keep going
Yeah,
keep going over
exactly,
them and keep pulling through.
exactly.
Yeah, but when it comes to Division 3 college hockey, like you're balancing between uh school hockey and then like a social life as well, especially like at the Division 3 level, because like
Mhm.
you're there for academics as well. So like what was trying to create like that balance like, and like was it difficult to create that balance?
Honestly, I didn't really do it. I probably was doing, I probably had things that most college kids didn't do at that time.
Yeah.
Like I had a job, and I had a girlfriend, and we rent a house out here. Um, and not everyone's doing that. Like a lot of guys and girls, they just want to go out and party. And like I just, I had done that already in my teenage years, and I was
Yeah.
like, I just kind of want to chill. Like I'm content coming home, I don't know, maybe playing a game of Madden and going to bed. And that's kind of how my like social life was. I mean, I made some good friends on my team, but as far as like going out and like classes and stuff, I was fine with everybody, but I didn't really care to socialize, I guess, as much as as a hermit as I sound, but that's truly how I was.
Hey, well, if it works for you, like it works for you, and you're just gonna keep doing it, especially if like that's what you want to do, like whatever you want to do, like that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, and that's what I did. That was my life pretty much through college.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so I have a few more questions before we wrap things up here. So do you have any tips for goaltenders looking to get to that next level?
Yeah, you got to work hard. Obviously, like that's such a cliche to say, but you have to. Yeah, and you gotta take the next step too. Depending on where you're at, if you're in youth and you want to play juniors, if you're in junior and you want to play college, you have to take that extra mile to start reaching out to some of these coaches,
Yeah.
and you got to start making those connections. Because as much as like you'd want to get there off a skill, like a lot of it is who you know. Um, so it's all about taking that extra step, taking time to find video of yourself. Scouts love seeing video. Um, and reach out to everybody you can. You got to do the little things on the ice, but you got to do them off the ice too.
Yeah, and you got to look out for yourself, like you said, like reach out to coaches, because if you have that much confidence in yourself, and you believe in yourself, like why not just put yourself out there and like
Yeah,
try to get on a team somewhere. Like that's what you got to do.
exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great tip. But my next question is, what's your game day routine, whether it be like home or away? Like let's go for home games. Like, what's your game day routine?
I used to have crazy routines, and I just can't do that anymore. I don't want to ever be locked into something where like I have to have this mindset where if I don't do this, then I'm not going to perform well on the ice.
Yeah,
So nowadays I just kind of go with the flow. I wake up, we have our morning skate. I'll go to skate. I'll get a nice breakfast after. And then the rest of my day is just like whatever I want to do. If I want to take a nap, if I want to go walk around the mall or something, like honestly, I'll do whatever I want to do just because I can't be locked in that mindset anymore of like I need to take a shower at this time, go to the bathroom at this time, take a nap at this time, and then be ready to go. So I just kind of live my life honestly.
yeah. Just freeze the mind and just whatever you want to do, that's what you're gonna do, and nothing's gonna be like, oh, I have to do this at this time, like you said.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, like before, I had some wild routines. Like I could only shower at the rink and I couldn't go back home and shower and I'd wear the same clothes and yada, 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 eat the same food. And like, now I'm just like, man, that's just too much. Like I just need to,
Too much
it's not going
thinking.
to matter yeah, if I eat the same pasta meal every Friday at 2 p.m., like it doesn't matter. Like I can still go play a good game. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's just kind of what I do now.
yeah, exactly. Just not that's just way too much thinking, and that creates like way too much stress on your body and your mind. So
Exactly.
you just
Way
gotta
too
free
much.
free the
Just
mind a
at
little
the end of
bit.
the day, exactly. Just go out there and play at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. But then my next question is, what's your favorite pump up song? Like you're listening to this before pregame warmies, like you're listening to this in the gym. Like what are you listening to?
There's a few good ones. Um, Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill's a good one. That gets me fired up.
Oh yeah,
First Day Out by T Grizzly. That's another good one. And I don't know if I can remember the band. It's called This Fire Burns. If any wrestling fans out there, if you remember the old CM Punk intro, that's the song. I can't remember the band though. I think it's Switchfoot, maybe. I don't know, but it's a good jam too.
yeah. I bet those are some great jams, and whatever gets you going, like gets the juices flowing. Like that's what, like you just got to listen to that on repeat.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I do. I think like what I normally do, like right before I go in the locker room, I put that song on and just kind of get fired up a little bit.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's fantastic. But I have a few this or that questions before we wrap things up here. So
Gotcha.
pizza or pasta?
Oh man, that's you hit me with a really but tough one right away. Uh, I'm probably gonna go pasta. I think pasta is my favorite food overall.
Yeah, I agree with that. Pasta is my favorite food, but you can't go wrong with a good pizza.
I love pizza, and being from Buffalo too, I think I might be a little biased, but we have the best pizza around.
Yeah, that I'll agree to disagree there, but Chicago pizza is also where it's at, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
we'll definitely agree somewhere in the middle on there. But since you are from Buffalo, I have to go Bills or Patriots.
Oh, stop it! Don't even Bills all the way. Patriots. I don't even know who they are.
Live sporting event or watching on TV?
Live sporting event. And my
Yeah.
biggest thing I can say for that is like baseball. I can't really watch it on TV, but I love going to the games.
Yeah, me too. I love going to baseball games and watching playoff baseball. I can definitely watch, but sitting 162
Yeah, I
regular
can. Yeah,
season
I'll give you
games,
that
no.
one. Yeah, I was watching that Astros and Phillies game, and I was like, "This is a pretty good game to actually watch, like on the TV." So I will say that playoff baseball is fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Then glove save or 5-hole save?
I don't know why I got to think about this. I want to say glove save, but there's something about making a 5-hole save that's so nice because if you get beat on it, you look like an idiot. But if you make the
Yeah.
save, no one really cares. But you're like, oh, that's a good save.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone loves a good windmill save, but the 5-hole saves
Exactly. Yeah,
are underrated.
I think so.
Yeah, and then the next one is winning the lottery or finding your soulmate.
I already did that, baby.
There we go.
So that's all. That's all.
Yeah, that's the answer I need. Night or morning? Are you a morning person or a night person?
Oh, night person. I'm an owl.
Yeah,
Morning.
me too.
Don't even talk to me. But night, jeez, I'm like Dracula.
And then the last one is lose sleep or skip a meal.
Skip a meal.
Yeah.
Give me the most sleep I can. If I need an 18-hour day of sleep, I'll take it.
Yeah, I definitely need my beauty sleep for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but Trevor, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to following your career the rest of the way. And this is a lot of fun.
Thanks, man. I'm glad you asked me to come on. I had a good time today, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. We'll definitely have to do this again one day soon.
Absolutely.